I have completed the design and construction of a small, easy-to-replicate 3D printed wind turbine. In this video, I'll share all the necessary details for its fabrication. The STL files are available for free via a link in the video description. This turbine, due to its dimensions, is ideal for educational and didactic environments, as well as remote stations that require energy in the absence of sunlight. It's perfect for powering remote sensors, biological surveillance cameras, air quality sensors, and more. Additionally, it is designed for anyone with a 3D printer who wishes to build and experiment with it. Here are some of its innovative features. It relies on 3 soda bottles filled with water, connected to a central adapter, to which a broomstick or mop handle is screwed to act as a post. It incorporates a mechanism derived from a caster wheel. During the manufacturing process, the turbine's performance needed to be tested. To do this, I used a 12-inch fan, from which I removed the front deflector to ensure a more direct airflow. The test demonstrated that the turbine followed the airflow perfectly without any issues. The first prototype was printed in PTG, achieving good results. In the second prototype, I used ASA, which delivered better performance, although this material is somewhat more challenging to print. For the project's development, I was sponsored by PCBWAY. I had long been intrigued by 3D printing processes with metal materials and always wanted to experiment with parts made through this method. I was also interested in materials like nylon with fiberglass. I also tested CNC manufacturing by ordering the blade hub in aluminum. This part was initially designed for plastic printing, with slots for 3mm screw nuts, but the switch to aluminum exceeded my expectations. Regarding tolerances, I can say they are perfect. This piece would be extremely complex to manufacture by other methods, but this technology had no trouble achieving all the details I had envisioned. It's worth mentioning that we're talking about metal, with exceptional mechanical and thermal properties. This piece has impressive durability and will allow me to experiment with it for many years. As for the nylon printed parts, they also turned out perfect. Holding them feels similar to ceramic pieces, like those used in high-power resistors. They exhibit exceptional rigidity. The resolution achieved is so high that I couldn't detect the printing layers. During the demonstration of how to build this small wind turbine, we will use the parts made by PCBWAY. The generator I chose for this project is a motor salvaged from printers. While researching online, I found that some sellers offer it at a very reasonable price. This motor has a female connector at the back that could be used, although in my case, I didn't have access to that connector. For this reason, I opted to solder 2 wires directly to the DC motor terminals. I recommend testing the maximum voltage generated by spinning the motor with your fingers. If the motor doesn't produce at least 5 volts, it might not be suitable, especially for powering LEDs like those we use in this project. The LEDs used come from a small lamp powered by 3 AA batteries in series, generating about 4.5 volts. It's always important to check that the generator motor can light the LEDs by spinning it manually. The small DC motor is secured with screws to the front cover of the nacelle. Additionally, a bit of silicone along the inner edge of the cover ensures a tight functional seal when inserting the assembly into the nacelle. Finally, I compare the wind turbine tails. One is made from ASA using my Ender 3 printer, and the other from nylon with fiberglass. The nylon's quality is far superior. The wires from the generator motor are fed through the tail coupling hole and out to one side. Silicone or another adhesive is then used to secure the tail in place. The blade thickness at its thinnest point is extremely fine, which caused a minor defect during printing. This issue was easily resolved by trimming a small line from the blade and lightly sanding it. The connection of the blades to the central blade hub is designed to be made with small M3 screws and corresponding nuts. However, I decided to test the strength of hot glue and was surprised by its effectiveness. In all the tests conducted, no blade came loose. Although in the video I show how to apply glue first to the blade and then insert it into position, I recommend placing the glue inside the blade hole in the blade hub before assembling it. This method creates a stronger connection, as the glue is pushed out through the screw holes, reinforcing the bond. It's important to mention that the concave side of the blades should face the wind, and the system should rotate clockwise. In case of poor performance, check that the blades are not installed backward. One drawback of this project is that the motors used have very thin and short shafts. Some motors of this type come with a toothed piece for rubber belts, which I generally recommend keeping. In this case, that piece was plastic and slightly wider than the hub hole, so I had to adjust it by trimming it slightly. The motor wires must be connected with the correct polarity to light the LEDs. If you use a multimeter and get a negative voltage while spinning the motor clockwise, it means the wires are reversed relative to the multimeter. Before continuing with the assembly, it's a good idea to run a test using a fan to ensure everything is working correctly. Time to attach the LEDs to the wind turbine's tail, for which I also used hot glue. I believe that in the future, adding a translucent cover for this circuit could enhance its value and provide a useful improvement. Installing the bottles is straightforward. You just need to remove the retention ring from the caps, which is already standard in modern bottles of this type. The connection is made using Allen screws and nuts fixed to the bottom cap. As you can see, the bottles are firmly connected, plus this design provides a base that can float. The central tapered threading is compatible with the standards of poles used in many cleaning tools, such as brooms, dustpans, or window cleaners. This makes it a very economical and accessible solution. Initially, I doubted the necessity of using guy wires, but experience proved they were essential. I designed a simple system that includes guy wires and a string fastener for the broomstick. This piece accommodates M4 nuts inside, and screws are threaded through each hole. But by using 3 strings of the same length and following the procedure I demonstrate, you'll get the necessary tensioners to ensure excellent stability for the structure. Another innovative element of the project was using the mechanism of a caster wheel as a support for wind rotation. These wheels are easy to find and affordable. To adapt them, I first removed the wheel. I held the pin with locking pliers and with the help of a drill and a wide bit, eliminated the flange. Then, I simply pulled the pin to release the wheel from the mechanism. The connection to the nacelle can be made using a screw and nut or by reusing the pin with a bit of glue. Finally, all that's left is to assemble the coupler for the broomstick along with the caster wheel mechanism, and everything will be ready. I hope this project has caught your attention and encouraged you to replicate it. I've enjoyed every step of the process and hope you do too. If that's the case, give me a like and share it so YouTube promotes my content. Thank you all and see you soon.